Tonight's episode, Triangle of Terror.
All right, I think we are good here. See if we get some volume.
Tonight's episode.
There we go. All right, so we're every Friday morning or Friday in the afternoon, depending on where you live.
Triangle.
Wait, why am I hearing this again? Oh, I got this one running too, so we'll close that one. Every Friday morning we go live and we check out one of the best channels on YouTube and we pick their top 10 videos, I guess, interviews mostly. So today we're looking at an awesome channel called Riding Shotgun with Charlie. And today, unlike other days, I have sent an invite to Charlie like 5 minutes ago, so he has no idea it's even in his inbox probably. And then a couple of other people who either know him, have been in the vehicle, and or watched all of his videos. So what we're gonna do is go through a whole mess of videos. Let's see, he's on episode 115, so I'm guessing there's approximately 115 videos in here, and we're going to pick the top 10. So that's not going to be too hard, but it's probably be difficult actually. So I did invite a couple of people. If they show up, they'll help pick the top 10 because really this is just my picks, I guess. However, because we got the new poll feature right here, we're going to see who all wants to participate. So do you watch Riding Shotgun? Yeah, that fits in there. And then we'll do yes, no, and then we'll add now I will for sure. So it'll be now I will for sure. All right, and then we'll ask the community. So that means that you get to participate. So that's a warm-up question. We'll see who all shows up, and we'll use those polls to let you help me figure out which are going to be the top 10. All right, so it's been 4 years, I guess. At least that's the one that says here 4 years ago. So we'll open up some of these things. And we're not going to open up every one of them, I guess. But since this is the first one, Dr. Steve Moisey.
Well, I mean, talking about being competitive, I mean, you and I are not in the least bit competitive.
Not in the least bit.
Not when it comes to shooting or working with friends or anything. It's just, but I remember with a lot of pleasure the legislative shoots. I have to be very clear here. We're not shooting legislators. Shoot for the,
With
the legislators. And just so that your audience knows that the
So that's the first one. He did a trailer for 1 minute and 44 seconds, and I'm guessing then later on he talked to the guy. So then we have actually his first videos are trailers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Wow, there's a whole bunch. All the way up until here. They're all trailers. And then you start to get, so Margot Cheevers, I guess, is the first interview. And then the rest of these were all just trailers. I think some of these were in his first intro also. So he used this, placed all these together to make the beginning of his show. And then he's got some probably music stuff or something here, and then you start to see some more little minute ones. So this was the guy who went up who's a machine gun shooter, and they talk little 1 minute, 2 minute pieces. And then looks like this one says 22 and is 47 minutes long. So I don't know, maybe he chopped off a bunch of his old ones. Maybe it's all fake. Maybe there's 21 fake episodes. That's probably what it is. So somehow he starts at 21 or 22, I guess. There's some reason for that. So you've got somewhere in here you had Well, I guess you didn't really ever have a long time with her. I thought I remember seeing a interview with her though. No, I guess not. So I must have just been thinking about watching these 3 or 4 10-minute videos in a row. So that was the first one, I guess. And that was 4 years ago, it says. And then we start getting into 45 minute to half an hour videos here. So let's see. Dee Dee Edmondson talks ERPO. So that was 3 years ago. They're already in there talking nerdy about extreme risk protection orders and Massachusetts. And doesn't really have a lot of description yet. He's just figuring it out. Only 94 views on that one. That's crazy. So I don't know who she is. Oh, here, I guess this was the first one. This Brian Aitken, because this one was 47 minutes. So there's this one, and I don't remember. I remember watching all these, but none of them stand out as reminding me like, oh yeah, that's my favorite one or something.
Riding shotgun refers to the... From what I understand, it's illegal to possess hollow points in the commission of a crime. It's true, right? But...
So, let's see. Hunting and being a police and getting a senior discount at Dunkin' Donuts. I think that one was okay. This is the first time I seen the dude from Gun for Hire. So this is the guy that Tony Simon started out doing his diversity shoot at in New Jersey. Then you got James Kaleda. Now I'm definitely putting that one in the top 10. James Kaleda is another podcaster who's very similar. Well, was a podcaster, I guess. Similar format, except instead of driving around in a car, you just talk to people and then let them talk. And Charlie, for the most part, interviews people, just lets them talk. Let's see. This one was okay. An interesting interview for sure. Michael D. Betancourt. And I'm not putting this in my top 10, but it was definitely an interesting interview listening to this guy. And you'd only listen to that guy. Okay, come on. You're going to hear that a lot, I guess. Let's see. So then we get this guy who was knowledgeable, and I'm opening these things up to see if it reminds me of what they were talking about. So Jay McMahon, Massachusetts Attorney General candidate. They drive around on Cape Cod, shares a couple of insights, including something about this trading post, and then something about his opponent in the Attorney General race. Insight was interesting, and listening to somebody who's running for something like Attorney General is not often something that people spend an hour talking to. So it was interesting, and that's one of the reasons I like riding shotgun with Charlie, because he's not just talking to the, what do you call it, like the name brands, which are kind of boring to listen to. All they ever do is talk about their name brand. Next up is Marcus Allen. This dude's pretty awesome, and I don't remember what all in a half an hour they talk about, but I like any opportunity to talk about this guy. So basically, he had to do something with his firearm, and he was wearing a Santa Claus outfit, so he had to write a book about it, or he wrote a book about it. And instead of leaning into the like, oh, one time lightning struck, and therefore I'm gonna, exploit that, he took whatever notoriety, respect, and cash came out of whatever that result was, and turned it into a facility. Really, he bought like a giant building, pretty big facility, and then he's turned it into a school for the like mechanical arts or whatever you call it, like learning the contracting trades for kids in Detroit. So it's freaking awesome. That dude's kicking it. He's really doing good stuff. So that's going to be in my top 10. We got Mark Walters from Armed American Radio. From what I remember the whole story, Charlie first talked to that guy, and that guy brought him on the show or encouraged him to do the show, encouraged Charlie to do his show in this format. So I think that was a little origin story, and thank you from Charlie to Mark and whatnot. This was Rob Stedman, Executive Protection, and Dizzy Gillespie. So former Marine, passenger is a former Marine, former police officer, former Executive Protection from Tactical Edge, a little bit of everything. He went into the Marines, worked as campus securities now in Virginia, took a drive around, see that building, everything. All right, I don't remember that one too much, so I'm not putting it in my top 10. Now here's another one with Anthony. So is that the second one, or am I just reading the first one? No, he had 2 interviews with Anthony. I don't know if that's the same one or not. Now you get Kenn. So Kenn was the first one to do an interview with Gun Freedom Radio, and he's number 4. Oh, I see. So they started with 22 being posted, but Marcus was number 1. Mark Walters was number 2. Look how that works. Then 3, and then 4 was Kenn. So Kenn's going in there. Just a time to jump over. What am I going to do? I can go from here, I bet, because actually I can just go to GoFundMe. Here's Kenn's website. Encourage you to check that out. Since Kenn was the 4th guest on Charlie's show, we're going to take a second, and here's a GoFundMe for Charlie if you'd like, but actually I'll do that later. What's the easiest way? I'll type in. Boom. So somebody set up a GoFundMe for Kenn and his wife. So if you've got a couple of bucks and you'd like to know that your capitalism is going to a guy that helped inspire people like Charlie and me and Gun Freedom Radio, then consider throwing some of your capitalism to help Kenn out. He's helping his wife with some issues that she's having health-wise, and you can go learn more about that and help him out. That's what we're all about. We call ourselves a community or whatever. There's a good way to help out Kenn. So he's 4th guest on Charlie's show. I think there's something to that too, because when a bunch of different people start off with people like Kenn, that gets them starting in a direction that gives them awareness of what the whole spectrum can be. Kenn's been around for a while, and he's seen a lot of stuff come and go, a lot of stuff stick around, and sage advice, is that the way I say it? Let's see, Kirk Watley. Watley training, didn't get a lot of stuff here. I just don't remember that interview, so moving on. Lee Michaels. Oh, I guess I have to open these in order to read the descriptions on them. Lee Michaels was robbed at gunpoint outside his home. He found a way to escape and took it. It's an amazing story. Lessons from Unarmed America. Okay. So I don't remember that one. Archway Defense. There's another trainer guy, I guess. Shooting a 9mm pistol, shooting 600 yards. So trying to remember this one, and I don't. All right. So next up is Amanda Suffolcool talking about fashion shows. This is 2 years ago. I guess her brother's in the back seat. And then Steve Mosey. Dr. Steve Mosey. IRA reign of terror. So is this guy talking about the IRA? Come on, YouTube. What's my YouTube taking so long? Connection issues. I barely remember that one. I barely remember it. Now, Amanda's talking about her fashion show. I'm guessing he talks to Amanda again, probably more than once. So I'm going to scroll up to the top here and see if he talks to her. He talks about the fashion show up here, so we'll talk about the fashion show when we hit that. But this is... Look at that, I muted so you didn't have to hear me talk. This is 2 years ago. She's talking about it. And her show, probably. Well, her and her brother do a radio show. So let's see. John Green Goal. Burning Shotgun. Goal is Gun Owners Action League. And then Burning Shotgun Ammo Components. So whatever. John's a friend and a gun guru. I had the idea for my show with getting to hang out with John and do some talking. We had some time to grab Dunkin' Donuts and talk about how I went to mechanics, to firearm sales, how he got his job with Goal, and how, so basically just talking to a friend of his that is an activist who works for Gun Owners Action League. That's the Massachusetts state level organization. Probably similar to when, well, anybody that might have a friends with the people that are in those organizations. Let's see. Next up is Shanine Allen, arrested and jailed in New Jersey. She was arrested for carrying a firearm in her purse while driving. It cost her 48 days in jail, and the judge wanted to put her away for 11 years. I think I do remember this one. It was interesting to hear the, a 49-minute conversation about the incident instead of the, if you remember, this was from 2018. It didn't get a lot of news, but the incident, instead of just hearing about it as a news blip or whatever, it's cool that Charlie, again, he's not just trying to talk to the big, deep names or whatever. So you get an actual opportunity to get 49 minutes on that story and the nuance of it. I'm not putting it in my top 10, though. Then Yuta, I think that's, I don't know what the deal is. He had 2 half-hour ones with Yuta in here. So there's one that's labeled Show 12, and then there's another one. There's Gary Daughtry, instructor at Firearm Safety Institute, co-host of the Polite Society podcast. So I guess this guy is one of the co-hosts of the Polite Society podcast. Barely remember that one. Then this is the 44-minute full video with Zimba, who's an author or a writer, and he's got a bunch of machine guns, and they drive around in a 4-wheeler. Then you get Aaron Paulette, and that was 2 years ago, so probably right when, this is probably at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, this series here, so that's the first of the series from the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and this is probably right when she took over, well, she created Blazing Swords, and they gave her, like, whatever, it was, I think it was when they first organized Pink Pistols into having, like, a boss or whatever. Then Adam A. Amy. So this is from the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and talking to her about all her deal. She's like a military shooter. A Marine drill instructor. And then Polite Society podcast. Then there's a second one with Marcus. Then Tammy. I don't remember this one. Last summer, a kid stopped at a local gun store. She told me what she does, and I told her what I do. We exchanged cards. So basically, he was just driving around, and they stopped at a gun shop. They met and exchanged cards. When I was emceeing a concealed carry fashion show, I emailed Tammy and asked if she wanted to be involved, and then she asked if I wanted. And then we talked about what got her into the business of making jewelry with spent ammo. Now it's been growing, so that's kind of cool. Very much like when people go to SHOT Show and go downstairs and talk to the folks who aren't like Colt and Glock and Smith and Wesson, and except you get 41 minutes in the car with them instead of a noisy booth at SHOT Show. Then you get Paul Lathrop, who's played Society Podcasting. I get paid by Second Amendment Foundation to do their daily podcast, be their media guy. Pierre Solomon? What's this guy's deal? Solomon Firearms Training. Pierre started in Massachusetts, came to USA from Haiti, served in the military, became an entrepreneur, started his own trading business. Teaches beginners, experienced shooting students, and even military. Head to Providence, Rhode Island. We head to Providence, Rhode Island for our drive. Oh, Massachusetts must be close to Rhode Island. Do I remember this one? I seem to remember the dude from Haiti. That was pretty interesting, but I'm not putting it in my top 10. Let's see where we at. Doug Danger. Motivational speaker. Doug jumped on 22 cars on Evil's motorcycle. Oh, snap. So this guy's some kind of, I think I kind of remember this one, but it wasn't a gun one, so it didn't stick. Then here's Charlie at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, I guess, saying stuff. Then you get another interview with Kenn, looks like a couple years later. The first one, yeah, says 4 years ago. So a couple years later, you get another interview with Kenn. Now at this point, I'm guessing, is that Gun Rights Policy? Can't tell. I don't think so. So maybe SHOT Show? No, too many green around there. So I don't know where this was, but anyway, I'm wondering if that's when Kenn was retired, because this would have been about the era where he's retired. Let's see what it says in here. Talk about music, staying positive during difficult times, and I don't know what difficult times they were having in 2018. Probably difficult times with apathy. Then you get Rick Hector. So Rick has been training a bunch of girls in Detroit all the time, and 2,000 this year, I think, or 4,000. They got a massive goal this year. This was September of 2018. So this was a Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago. So a bunch of little short ones, and I guess he had some sort of an SUV. So then you get Derek from Kid Safe, and then John Green, Hunting Stories, and Even More Laughs. I don't remember that one. Andy Reardon, Maine, teaching women and U-turns. Andy and I drive around York County, Maine, talking gun safety for kids, talking about women camping and shooting with passenger Zimba. Oh, interesting. I don't remember this one at all. Did I miss this one? Come on, YouTube. I know I stop it when Charlie looks weird. No, I don't know if I remember that one. So then you get Holly Sullivan. She's president, maybe, I don't know if she was president then, but she's president of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. I think we'll put Holly in there because she does pretty good. Then you get Rhonda Ezell, who is the only chick on this whole thing that went to the Supreme Court twice and won. So she's up there for sure. Plus, she always talks about Chicago Guns Matter and the fact that not only did she go to the Supreme Court twice and win, but then instead of being a jerk about it, she just created Chicago Guns Matter to share the process and how it happened, basically so others can learn from what the circumstances was, the situation was. It's awesome. Greg Hopkins. I don't remember this one. First person I met, gun rights policy in Tampa, gave me a book, A Time to Kill.
He uses these as
Then we got together.
We all know
Then we got together for this interview at Chicago, the Bible and self-defense.
with force.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you this.
I don't remember that guy. So next up is Layla. Roommates, rights, and revolvers. Oh yeah, this is some girl that her roommate said, oh, she's got a gun, and made her move, or she wouldn't move, or something. So that's just some girl who was minding her business and got in trouble because a bunch of people wanted to make a big issue out of the fact that she had a gun in her dorm, or her roommates didn't like her gun or something. So again, something where instead of just being a news blip, Charlie sits down and chats with her for 26 minutes. You get some insight, some perspective, and a little finger on the pulse of what the kids are thinking these days. Then you get Dan Wass. That guy's always on the Played Society podcast. He's always on the Second Amendment podcast thing with Second Amendment Foundation with Lathrop. And then he wrote a book. Then you get Tony Simon, so he'll go to the top there. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Tony Simon is 2A for E, a multi-state situation where he takes individuals who want an orientation or familiarization, and if they want to, if they feel comfortable, get some trigger time on a firearm. And he takes people from all walks of life and all ages and whatnot, and he gives them that opportunity. Started doing that in New Jersey 7 years ago. Yeah, 7 years ago. And does it in Pennsylvania and now Nebraska. Just got back from Nebraska. And then in his spare time, he was an activist. But like a lot of people, doesn't have a lot of spare time. Probably play commercials instead of just coughing. Then you got Rob Morse. He's slowfax.org or something. He says things slow. Then you got Kevin Sona. I forget. This might be down in Florida. He probably went down, or he probably did these when he was I'm guessing when he was in Florida, doing the Florida Carry event. This would have been probably 2019. South Point 6. Open carry fishing and YouTubing. So Michael and Steven, you've seen both of these men from Florida. You're learning their names now. As a fisherman who makes videos of his venture, he was arrested for open carrying while fishing. It's totally legal in California. So this is a guy who, again, would have been normally just a blip on the radar. And now you get 35 minutes to hear the situation. I do not remember, but he's wearing a rifle, so you think I would have remembered that one. There's Holly again. What was that? So after those two was Masad Ayub, and it was cool to watch this one because I haven't seen Moss in a while, so got to catch up by, what's that called? Through Charlie. It was kind of cool, so definitely Masad Ayub is the shit, and if you don't like Masad Ayub, then I don't care. But next up is this guy. I barely remember this one, but he's the only guy that wore like a suit and stuff. Then Steve Moret. Don't remember this one. Florida Carry, 5th Tuesday of the month. Putting out an extra one. You never know when you'll find a friend or new guest. When I attended the Gun Rights Policy Conference, I had I met many rock stars. Steve Moret was one of them. He and his wife sat behind me at the conference. We became friends on Facebook. He was one of the people I wanted to hang out with to get to know better at the Florida Carry trip. He spends time covering military experience, and he got it out of his kids were young. He does have a DUI, which followed him to Florida. Decided to check out. He had to clean that up. Going through the process is how he got to Florida Carry. Cool. So basically just like a shoot this shit session with a friend. And, with that explanation, the friend that was discovered in the exploration of being an activist and what activism is. Then Lauren Hartnett, who's one of my favorites, so she's going to the top. She's a paramedic, I should say, paramedic in New York. David Rosenthal, I don't remember this one. So this is some old guy, Coalition New Jersey firearms owner. He was a speaker on the panel with Tony Simon, a bunch of other people. After a conference, I went to dinner with Tony, and then we got to meet this guy. He was on the Gun for Hire a bunch of times. Then ate a sandwich with the guy. Talked about when the guy was younger. And all right, so basically a dude who it says there's a picture. I don't see a picture. But anyway, so it's some dude, and they just talk about guns. And that's how you get the information from one generation to the next. So instead of just having a conversation and over a big sandwich one day, now it's on the internet for an hour, and people can get a glimpse of that guy's perspective on guns. Mary Schuster Callison, I don't know how to say her name, but she's pretty good. I like watching her on the Instagram. I don't remember this interview. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I'm only at 8. No, I'm not putting her up there. Then but she's good, and she's one of the DC project delegates. I want to say she's on a farm, so it always blows my mind. She's in like Connecticut or something. I'm sure. I guess I can click on here. And it'll probably say, picked her up on West Randolph in Chicago. I had a parking spot and she was going to take it. And we were going to take my rental as I'm waiting to see a woman. Let's see. She was an activist after Newtown. She started 1 Million Moms Against. Doubled down with activism. She got in DC Project. Mary took her sister's story. Her sister was hurt really bad in a domestic thing, and then she took that story to DC, and it doesn't say what state she's in. So thanks, Charlie. So anyway, she's pretty awesome, and I'm not putting her in my top 10. Then Jared, who's Guns and Gadgets. I think it took them a while to meet up because they're both in Massachusetts. Jared's a good dude, probably the only one putting out so much 2A at such a level, but I'm not putting him in my list because he's one of just the all-stars. He doesn't need no help. Tatiana Whitlock is pretty cool. She's an instructor out of Maine, so I don't know how kind of order these things go in, but he probably went up to Maine, and that's maybe where they met up. Anyway, she's pretty cool. It's cool to hear her story. And again, usually you just get a blurb or two. Hey, blah, blah, blah. Here's an introduction. And then why we brought this person on the show as an expert in whatever. And then she gets an opportunity to say her name and her occupation or something. And then, why you should believe whatever she's about to say. She says whatever she's about to say. They tell her to leave. And that's all you're ever going to get. Here you get an hour talking to her. So it's totally different. Chris Dougherty. Oh, and then by the way, Tatiana has a radio show going now with this other lady, and I haven't listened to it, but the guests that I've seen come up are amazing. So I need to start listening to that one at some point. Oh, this is the one guy we see. Oh, no, it's not. I was going to say, that's the guy we see in the intro, but I was just looking at the intro. So Chris Dougherty is tactical kid of the Gunners Fashion League, or the Gun Owners Action League's Concealed Carry Fashion Show. Not something you see in the Mass Firearms instructor at Mass Firearms School. So I guess his wife was about to lose her concealed carry license, so they went to go shoot, and then they decided they like shooting. I kind of remember this, and it was more of just the here's somebody's experience as a shooter. Their life as a shooter or what. Then you get Shaky Dave, and that dude's a competitive shooter with Parkinson's, I guess, and shooting helps him focus and uses shooting as therapy. And I think therapy, I don't know, is the way to say it. It's a good one. Then you get Carrie. Yep, she's mean to me, so I'm not putting her up there. Then you get Kelly. Kelly's pretty awesome. I've seen her on Gunstreamer, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She would be 9. I don't know. She doesn't need the help, so I'm not going to do it, I guess. But I don't know much about her other than she was creaming everybody on Gunstreamer for the longest time and doing it naturally, right? Doing it because she's awesome, not because she is forking it or nothing. So, yeah, I think she's got a lot of respect. And she seems to be pretty good at what she does. So I would put her up here, but I don't think she needs my help, so I'm not going to. Then you get Susan Hansen and Lori Blackwell. I don't know who those people are. So we're going to jump in here and see if it hurts my memory. This summer, I headed to D.C. to hang out and get some shows with women from the D.C. Project. So this would have been 2019 when they were just going there to go there. And they didn't realize they'd have to come right back for the stupid rally in September or November. So this is a veterinarian who became an avid shooter and instructor. And they pick up Susan, who's a 3-gun Nana who created Crit earplugs for animals. Interesting. So now I totally remember it. This one's pretty good, and it's 2 chicks in here at the same time. However, I'm not putting it in my top. Oh, then there's Clover. He only gets 10 minutes because they don't want to pay attention to the dude who should get credit. So I'm not going to give him credit either. Then you get Dianna Muller, because that's why Anthony, because he's next to Dianna Muller. Then you get Cheryl and Dan Todd. Right? So we got to put them at the top also. And Gina Roberts, DC Project, Laura Smith, liberal gun owners. But you know what? They don't need our help. And then you got Pincus. Then you got KD. Train and Learn. And and Aiming for the Truth, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure what all he's doing with it because I don't pay that much attention. But I watch his Instagram, and I'm thinking he's still doing Aiming for the Truth more than the Train and Learn side, or more than the NOC side. John Richardson is a blogger and on the Polite Society podcast. I don't know what this one is. Yeah, no other choice is the training, and I don't care about training. I'm not going to support trainers, so I don't think he cares about it either. At least he didn't used to, but I really don't pay attention. I don't remember this one at all. Answer the Call is looking for passengers at the Gun Rights Policy in Phoenix. I was excited to have my first international passenger. Learned gun safety in school. He started shooting in Poland, where he's from. You're going to have to firearms license. Firearms United, fastest growing, has been around and got more involved. Second time at the conference. Asked him to come speak about what's going on in Europe. He talked about his route to Akron, Ohio. Interesting. I do not remember that one, so I might go back and watch that one, but I'm not putting it in my top 10. Then we get Mike Zadini from Walk Talk America, and then that's breaking barriers on mental health awareness and suicide prevention, and more than just talking about it, right? Not just talk to talk, it's walking the talk. So putting money where mouth is and getting things accomplished. So, I don't know if it's been a nonstop exponential growth, but from what I've caught up and listened to these things, more and more impressed with what Walk the Talk America has been able to do, especially comparing it to the others that are the same age. When you look at all the different groups and what age they are, this one's brand new, and it's just far exceeding the other, or the efforts of the expectations or whatever, the other organizations that are same age. Mark Sheehan? I don't know this one. We're only at number 68. Oh, there's Charlie right there. Yeah, I threw that link at you at the last second. We're about 68 in here. I can remember most of them. I think I found a couple that I don't think I've seen. So this one got a message from Facebook from John and said, finished editing a book of gun laws. Sent me, we had a nice conversation. Mark wrote a book. So he wrote a book, I guess. After teaching, Mark started to, I don't remember this one. I like this part. Charlie started doing this at some point, and this is a pretty good part. So we got Cheryl and Dan and Todd up here. No? Yeah. In this one. So one of the things that they do is interview people. They got way more interviews than Charlie, but whatever. So they've interviewed a ton of people, and on their website, which I'm guessing Charlie links to, Gun Freedom Radio right here, they have created an amazing archive of Second Amendment folks, because whenever they have somebody on the show, like they show here, you're going to see a bio or whatever. So they ask you when you're on the show to send them a bio. So this bio comes from the individual, so you know that it's accurate-ish, right? Because it's the individuals. But then, look what they do here. They have the past shows that they were on and all these links. So not everybody has a bunch of links, but Gun Freedom Radio just does an amazing job. If you have any idea any question about who somebody is, more than likely they've been interviewed on Gun Freedom Radio. You can search for it up here, or you can just browse through here. And when you find people that are cool, you can click on there and you're going to get information, like more information about those people. Well, of all the people that do podcasts and all the people that do this kind of stuff, Charlie is putting in more work than anybody. Look at this. So this is going right back, reciprocal, right back to Dan and Cheryl Todd, right? Their name, their info, right? And it's decent and current and real, right? And then he doesn't necessarily take a transcript, but he goes back and he listens to his own show and then makes notes. And if you think that's easy to do or people do that, you're wrong. Look at anybody's description of anything. You're going to get garbage boilerplate. Maybe this part is garbage boilerplate, right? Like everybody's got to put this stuff in there. At least you're stupid if you don't. But this part, nobody puts this part in there. And that's what creates the overall project, is beyond what everybody else is wasting their time on. So we're going back to this Mark Sheehan one, which I had no idea. So this is interesting. And now Charlie had started adding this favorite quotes thing, and you can tell he goes back and listens to his own show. I mean, editing it, he might as well. Takes the extra effort to write these things down or have a robot do it. Doesn't matter. It's here on the screen. So now people that ain't watching this, have this, and people that ain't listening to this have this. It's awesome. And stupid robots that are sorting everything and whatnot. This is brilliant. So anyway, so I don't remember this one too much. I kind of almost remember it. No, I don't remember it. I don't remember anybody wearing a Trump hat like that. So I'm going to close that one since I don't remember it, and then we'll go on to the next one. Meet the Presser. Oh, here. John edited Mark's book. John reached out to me to have him on the show. Meet the Pressers. I've heard this is the first time I heard of them, and then I hear about them often. I think they're a radio show or something. A podcast, maybe. I tried to listen to this one. I couldn't listen to the whole thing, so I didn't listen to the whole thing. It's not in my top 10. Next up is the same one, and then is Brian Harris. Number 70. We're only on 70, so we still got like an hour and a half to go. Brian took a course from me to get his Utah and Massachusetts. A month later, So, this one's interesting. Did I listen to this one? So this is somebody that Charlie had as a student. Let me listen.
So it can't be a felony. It's literally impossible. There's no way.
If you had,
Oh no, I didn't listen to this one.
drug,
This weird neckerchief scarf thing going on here. What's up with that, Charlie? So, no, I didn't listen to this one, so it can't be in my top 10. Looks like a good one, though. That's interesting, though. You ever had an opportunity to have an instructor talk to a student about a real-life event and then basically do an after-action? Sounds like what you're watching right there. How did I miss so many of these? I must have been doing something. Daniel Easterday. Illinois. Oh, he sued Durfell, Illinois, with Illinois rifle. So yeah, Illinois State Rifle. Wait, Illinois Rifle. I don't know what IRA is. And then Second Amendment Foundation. Illinois Rifle. I don't know what IRA is. So I was headed to Chicago for some stuff, and then one reason interview, met Rhonda Ezell and asked if she knew anybody. Why wouldn't she? She's beat the Supreme Court twice. She met up with this guy, checked out from Facebook, gunsmith and uncle, started shooting when he was older, Supreme Court in Illinois. All right, that's a lot to read. Here's he's starting the So You Think You Can Carry course. Kind of do remember this one now, actually. So I'm not putting it in my top 10. Next up is Mike Ox. Was this in Vegas? What was that? Did you hear her? She must have been, I don't know if that was a nightmare. That was a board yawn. Oh, these dry fire training cards. So does this guy work with, I think I kind of remember this one. I don't know if this one has anything to do with complete combatant or not, but dry fire training card seems interesting. Either was this one or I'm conflating it with I would have remembered that shirt though, so no, I don't remember this one. So that must have been Vegas 20? No, 20, yeah, Vegas 20, I'm guessing. And then John Costa. Gunrunner LLC. I called John Costa when I was, when you called him, he was on with Jen Beck. This one was actually pretty neat. This guy did something, right? And then you went and interviewed him, and everybody else was just like, hey, come on our show for 5 minutes. And you were like, why don't you drive around with me for half an hour? So you get to see this guy's like actual point of view and why he did what he did or whatever. But he's the gun shop owner or something. It said something to the effect of like, F you, right? So that one was pretty good. I would put it in the top, but he's got to deal with a lot of heavy hitters up here, so he ain't going to win. But that was cool, and that's where Charlie wins we win because now we get a half an hour with that situation instead of the regular news. So what's the big deal? Well, you can watch the regular news and be a dumbass, right? Or you can watch the regular news and then watch half an hour of insight, and now you know just how the regular news is manipulating, how they're editing what they're leaving out, right? And you assume that if they heard, 15 minutes of the conversation, they have a bigger picture of what they related, but what they actually related, you have something to put that in perspective thanks to Charlie and the people that take the time to be on the Riding Shotgun with Charlie interviews. Much appreciated. So next up is Mike and Britt from Next Level Training. And barely remember this one. This one was at SHOT Show, obviously. Looks like Woods is out here. liking it. We're talking hard times. Basically, from what I understand, scripted Top Shot is not scripted. The one dude was on Top Shot. Yeah, okay, I don't remember this one. But if it was during SHOT Show, I was probably not paying attention. Brooke Cheney. She does the Saturday shows, the Suicide Prevention Saturday shows, which are pretty awesome. And I've been watching her YouTube. So she's like an instructor. It's a great start shooting school. She's in the DC project. She's in Massachusetts. I don't even know what state she's in. Anyway, she's doing awesome work. I'm going to put her in the top. She's in the top 10 now. Let's go ahead and pause that one. And then Lauren Nelson. Why has he got so many girls on this thing? There's not that many girls in 2A. Girls need to be represented in 2A more. One of the things, how connect we can connect, she's in Phoenix. I asked to find somebody from Vermont to be on the show. Met Lauren. Why don't you have Bernie Sanders on? He's from Vermont. They went to a gun shop called Gateway Sports. See, here's where you're missing. Are you still listening, Charlie? Here's where you're missing. You're missing out. You need to start reviewing the gun shops too. Like drive the subway or the stagecoach to the gun shop. Get a picture of the stagecoach in front of the gun shop, and then review these gun shops. You need to know more about this gun shop. So I don't remember this one. I don't think, because I think I would have remembered y'all going into a gun shop.
Boxes, do not hold this up like a shotgun.
Oh my gosh.
You will regret it.
Handgun? Yeah.
And so I made sure not to do that. And it looked like some of those.
And next up is Don Hillier.
Like, if you don't want to spend the money on a purse, you don't have the money to spend on a purse, buy a purse that you have and get a pocket holster and sew it on the inside. Is that how you start out with something like that?
I like the designated pockets.
Okay.
I mean, you can see in my purse right now, I have a ton of crap in my purse.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I don't remember that one. So I must not have watched it because I already knew her story or whatever. So then LaKasha Robbins? Don't remember this one either.
Shotgun with Charlie.
Gun Owners Action League? Massachusetts Women Gun Owners? What? What is that? Let's go find out what that is. Massachusetts Women Gun Owners. Ugh, are they only on Facebook? Ugh. That's too bad. It was sometime in 2018. Concealed carry fashion show. New shooter, gun owner, licensed for several years. From there, started taking classes. Raised money for the DC project. This is from before the match. So this is somebody who helped set up the DC project match, I guess. So that's interesting. Again, somebody who isn't necessarily doing something in the news or whatever. Have I seen this before? Massachusetts Women Gun Owners. That logo looks familiar, but I don't remember. Oh, she's not staying in the top. I don't even remember her. So then Ronnie Siegel?
Shotgun with Charlie.
So Girl in a Gun for New Jersey. I don't know. This was a while ago. Or was this when you went up there for... This might have been when Charlie went... Wait, no, that was Connecticut. So I don't know when he went to... This is when a Girl and a Gun instructors were at the SIG Academy. So interesting, but we'll go to Robin, and she's Girl and a Gun also. So she's constantly doing stuff. And getting credit enough for it, so we'll leave Robin in the top 10 for now. She might get booted out. Then we got Argo and Rhonda. So this is when you went up to go hang out with Argo, I think, and then Rhonda was in the back seat. I'm not putting that one in the top 10, but that one's a good one. Stephanie Schaefer, DC Project.
Drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm
She's in
driving.
Nebraska, so I don't remember that one. I commented on it, so I must have seen it. Let's see. Bogie. Anyway, Quinn is after his brother died. So that was a good one, but I'm not putting it in my top 10. Mark Walters again. Brad Primo. I barely remember this one. You can see the diversity that Charlie has in here, though. It's got all kinds of different people. So this is Lead Slinger's Whiskey. This is the Lead Slinger's Whiskey.
You know, it's funny, like, yeah.
And then ever since then, Charlie horked enough of that Lead Slinger's Whiskey to be pouring it on everybody that comes into his car now. Let's see. So then... Oh, this is a new theme. Claude Werner.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver.
So this is the guy that brought the
The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the
gun.
stagecoach. Somebody used to
brings an airsoft gun. Let's see. Before we started filming at the home of Brian and Shelley.
My name is Charlie.
Uh,
I drive a lot.
let's
I like
see.
to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun.
Yeah, I don't remember this one. I guess he was at the tactical conference, and yeah, I don't remember this one.
Felony for spraying a gun, but they never did the gun ban. And the target.
Nope, I don't remember that one. So you can see he already has the little pillow thing in the back. I don't know what's going on with that. Is that when it started? No, it's already down here. And then you get Beth Alcazar from USCCA and DC Project. Stephen Williford. I do remember this one, but I'm not putting it in my top 10. Then you get Brian and Shelley Hill from Complete Combatant. That's a good one. Learned more about it than I knew about it before. Let's see. Teddy Daniels. That one was another show. Then you get Patrick Collins. Is this the gun guy? The gun food guy? Then Sarah Albrecht. She's the Hold Your Guns. John Petrolino is the gun book or whatever that you were talking about. This is the guy that edited Mark's book,
Shotgun with Charlie.
Decoding Firearms. And this was 21. So this is already this year when you're driving around this year. Not in my top 10. Gabby Cannons. This one was pretty good. Can't remember what the deal was. Girl in a Connecticut.
I looked at the directions and said, road 2.
So then we could just blame you then.
Yes. I'll take the heat.
That was a good one. I don't remember what it was about that one, but I remember liking that one. And then Judy Wells, is she the one who's working with Tatiana Whitlock to do the podcast now?
Shotgun with Charlie.
Yeah, Responsibly Armed Radio. So she's pretty awesome. And like I say, I'm going to start listening to their podcast more. I'm never sure when I start hearing somebody do a new podcast if it's going to be directed towards like new shooters and new gun owners, which I really don't care about listening to. But I don't know. Just seems interesting. Teresa Inneker is next. Oh, wait. I can't leave Judy Wells up there. Even though it's an interesting one, I can't leave her up there. So next up is Teresa Inneker, and her deal is...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie.
CNJFO, and she's pretty good. But I'm not going to write it. Next up is a bunch of Charlie doing stuff, sells stuff, so you can buy stuff off of him, use capitalism to move his stagecoach around and meet up with more people. Oh, we're at number 98, getting close. So this is a guy from CNJFO. Is this when you guys were going hunting? They went and killed a bunch of birds and then ate them, I think. Or else they just leave them there. I don't know what hunters do with their birds. And this is him talking to some dude before they went up there, probably getting ready to kill birds. I did listen to that one. Then you get episode 99, which I think should have been episode 100, but whatever, he doesn't run these things past me. And this was going down to Florida and cramming everybody knows into one little tiny car. So there's Rick Ector, Cheryl Todd, and then probably Dan Todd. That's Waz. I don't know his name is. Manasuffer Cool, right? And then, I don't know who the hell that was. Is that Kids Safe? This is Dr. What's-His-Face, Dean from DRGO. They all go into one side. No idea. Oh, that was probably Paul Lathrop, maybe? That's Gina. No idea. Amy. That's Charlie right there. He gets all mad because he has to do all those interviews, I guess. So yeah, in this one, he crams everybody in the back seat of his car. And these are the only people you can even see after all that. So I thought that was pretty awesome and pretty good. Oh, I didn't even notice. Look at this. He's got a camera jammed on the review mirror thing. Is that suction cupped up there? I bet you that's suction cupped up on there. That's pretty handy. That's pretty cool. Pointed right at Cheryl's eyes, so it must be real comfortable for her. All right, so that's pretty neat. And then he goes to 100 and he drives around. I don't know what happened here. Why is this 100? I don't know why he removed 100. So then he drives around with Alan Gottlieb. That dude's got 18 Corvettes or something, and he gave one to Charlie to ride around in. Pretty good. He gets a Corvette just to do a show. It's a pretty good deal. So he talks to Alan Gottlieb for 44 minutes. Then this guy. Then you get Alan Lau. I barely remember this one. Maybe I only watched 9 minutes of it. Hong Kong, moved to Boston when he was 13. Alan was a Democrat, stayed with the party, so that might be interesting. I don't think I listened to this whole one.
He said, I ran to,
Okay, come on, Internet. I don't think I listened to that whole one. Alexander, this is New Jersey Second Amendment.
Individuals the right to be able to defend themselves, like the man that was murdered next to me.
This dude's done a bunch of stuff. So that's a good one, but whatever, I'm not putting him in my top 10. More selling is swag, letting people know that they constantly change around the Teespring address. Then you get Mike from Arms Room Radio. So this is a dude who, one of the few people, brought a shotgun in. Charlie doesn't know what an AOW is, or an SBS. So he kind of learned him a little bit, but I feel like it's offensive to go to Florida and not know what a Serbu is, but whatever. But this dude brought a Serbu, so he knows what's up. And then, that's probably the most appropriate Florida riding shotgun, the Charlie gun. Also, I learned a little bit of stuff because of this dude's one of the few people doing radio shows still and talking about it and not just being a jerk about it. So that was a pretty good one. Then you got Dave Workman. Then you got Joseph Morris, Shooting Gallery, New England. I've seen this guy on the internet talking about stuff and people saying about him, so it was interesting to see an interview. Now, did I miss the Kim Petters one? Because Kim Petters is one of my favorites of all of them. Her story is pretty awesome, and she's the only one working for what she's working for, which is the conflict where if you're medical marijuana in most states, then you can't get CCW. So I don't remember what this guy's deal was. He's some kind of dude. He's a politician? What? Yeah, I don't remember this one. I thought there's one with Kim in it. Did I miss it? Anyway, that one would get my vote. Because this one has her in it, but then he doesn't even talk to her about her story. Then Shirley Trell. I like when he does this, when he puts right in there what they are, and he uses the contrasting color against the dark background. That works pretty good. Let's see, instructor. Oh, look at this typo. Why am I even doing this show if there's going to be typos in here? Shirley and I were both at the Florida Carry. I was playing Star Spangled Banner. Chance to film. She was speaking. She attended the Ambassador Academy. So that's pretty cool. I barely remember this one, or do I remember this one?
Young citizens learn how to operate firearms safely. It takes the mystery out of it.
I like that one. I think I remember that one. Rob Beckman. Come on. A few months ago, reached out. Rob was looking for an instructor for his podcast. Looks like we were both students in a MAG 40. I don't know if I remember this one. I'm almost positive I don't remember that one, so it's not going in my top 10. I don't know how to say her name either, Sharon. So this is the only time I ever got to have see an interview.
My father was
with her. I don't know if anybody ever did an interview with her. So that's pretty interesting. Tom Hall, Buckeye Firearms Association, faster. Then you get Stephanie. Active self-protection. So that's difficult to say, right? That was interesting. I had no idea. So that one I learned a lot. Now we'll talk about the fashion show. So a bunch of these interviews have mentioned fashion shows.
Realize Firearm Awareness Coalition.
One of the things that we do in our fashion show is that we show you what you can't see.
Come to the NRA annual meetings in Houston from September 3rd to the 5th. The event to be at is the Concealed Carry Fashion Show, hosted by Realize Firearm Awareness Coalition. You'll see purses, garments, vests, jackets, corsets, and other holsters, but you won't see the firearms the models are carrying. Get your tickets now, limited seating.
So anyway, the fashion show is something that Amanda Suffolk and some other ladies have been working on since like 2000. Well, depending on who you talk to and which fashion show you're talking about, since the early 2000s. Kim Petters was number 97. Thank you. So we're going back and going way back. Number 97. Where did that go? Oh, boom. So yeah, it was in the middle of all these swag videos. I almost missed it. That story, holy moly, that story right there, right? Concealed Carry Fashion Show. So for a long time, different people, mostly Amanda Suffolk though, have been doing concealed carry fashion shows and, you know, different levels of ability and whatever, you know, result. And consistently though, and then something like the National Rifle Association's annual meeting. That's what NARAM means. And, you know, so that gives a pretty big audience, or at least the potential for a pretty big audience to not just see the show, because only so many people are going to cram into a room to see the show, but the awareness, the perspective that that's a thing has been out there persistently changing the face, again, of gun owners for a long time now. there's no way that they can claim, that blah, 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 when, since now 2013, almost 10 years, there's basically been a yearly attempt at a fashion show for concealed carry, and not just for chicks, but not just to sell stuff, but like just to kind of celebrate the development of the field of concealed carry for everybody. And that took a while to get to the point where there was even something to be aware of and for it to move past the stupid marketing gimmicks and stuff. So Charlie is the only one that I'm aware of, including the people putting it on, that are doing anything to facilitate it. So I encourage you to go grab this. He made it 30 seconds so you can make it into a short. Have I shoved it in here already? You can shove it into your, what do you call this thing? So first you just go hork it, right? You grab the URL and use this. I can't talk about how you can hork it, but you can hork it. And then once you hork it, you just shove it up into your StreamYard, like what I got here. And now we're going to watch a commercial for the DC project as an illustrative example.
History proves to us that when a nation's citizens lose the right to keep and bear arms in their defense, the balance of power always tilts in favor of tyrants. Understand the Second Amendment for what it is, the scale of peace.
The DC project was an idea I had when I visited DC as a tourist, and a friend of mine set up a meeting with my congressman. I asked him, is there something that I can do as a professional shooter to reach out to the legislators? I hope it goes for all the 50 women, that at least they know their face, they know their name, and they know their story. Now we are expanding our efforts to the state and local level to be a counter voice to anti-gun groups like Bloomberg's Every Town for Gun Safety, as well as a counter visual to the red shirts of Moms Demand Action.
We don't look like what people like to villainize as the face of Second Amendment rights, but we truly are.
I am the Second Amendment.
So you could take this commercial from the fashion show at NRAM and share it like that. But anyway, thanks Charlie for sharing that, and for everybody who's doing it, for doing it. But anyway, that's this video. We can't win because it's not an interview. So let's not gloss over Kim Petters' story. So she did one of the worst horrible jobs you can imagine for a while. And then when she came home, she was having issues, as you can imagine. Oh, look, Charlie's wearing his weird tie, little scarfy thing. She had, troubles dealing with it, or eventually she felt like she could use some help dealing with it. And the VA was institutional in their reaction or their efforts to help. And when she finally tried medical marijuana type situations, she felt that worked better for her. And then she realized that there's a situation where if you're deciding to go with medical marijuana in most states officially and not as a criminal, then you're going to run into a conflict with concealed carry potentially, right to own, all kinds of issues. And there's no one else even touching it. None of the big organizations have the nuts to touch it. And Kim is the only one doing it. Probably one of the most interesting, except for elder care, which is nobody working on. This is one of the most undeveloped, most interesting angles that we've got on it all. The potheads got basically Second Amendment sanctuary status in how many states now? And they're not even working together. And they're trying to get people high. They're not even, they're trying to help some sick people, but they're mostly just trying to get high. And, like, how did that happen? I think we got so much to learn, so much to leverage. And Kim's an indication of that. Plus, she had a horrible job. Can you imagine the horrible, horrible job she had to do? And she did it. And she's an example of that, you can move past that stuff. All right, so definitely in the top 10. One of the reasons I even do a top 10 videos of channels is because of Charlie has a channel that has so many good videos, and because of videos like that interview right there that are worth reiterating, that are worth promoting again for everybody who's, watching stuff like this. You're not watching this because you got nothing else to do or you're buying your first revolver. You're watching this because you can't get enough 2A, and most people just want you to pay the $30 and then tell you to shut up and sit down, and you're looking for more. Riding Shotgun with Charlie is your table of contents for what's more. Every single one of these interviews is decent. The ones we're talking about here will open doors into whole nother areas, whole new realms and worlds of 2A that you're not even aware of because the gatekeepers don't want you to, the revolving door YouTube or what is it, Walmart greeters, aren't going to ever tell you what's beyond these doors. Let's see. So then you get Tanisha. I don't know. I don't know if I read or listened to the whole thing, but she's definitely helping out Rick Ector on his effort to chain ladies in Detroit. So I think I know this is the one where she mentions this year's goal, and I don't remember if it was 2,000 or 4,000 ladies, but it's a massive jump because I think this is the 10th year, right? So that one was pretty interesting. This one I didn't think I was going to like, but it was really interesting because I don't like listening to lawyers. Most of the time they're boring. This guy was still kind of boring, but he was worth listening to. And then this one is another example that Charlie listens to a lot of different people, and he's listening. He brings in an inclusive diversity of firearms people. So these are the ones that I'm picking as top 10, right? And y'all get to help me now. Because even though I could tell you which ones are the top 10, statistics show that you people like to be included in these things. So let's see how many we even have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that it? Okay, well, I only have 13. So we're going to go through them, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to, there's only 2 people out there besides me, so you're going to have a pretty easy vote at this. Where am I going? I go into here, I guess, and I'm going to go to here. I have to kill this other poll. Do you watch Riding Shotgun with Charlie? So of the 11 votes that we got, 45% of them, which is 5, I don't know, 5 of them probably said yes. That means that a couple said no, and then one person said I will for sure. So that's cool. I care if you watch Riding Shotgun with Charlie, but I more care if you learn about the people that we're going to be talking about here. Because Charlie introduces you to some people that are doing amazing stuff. What Charlie's doing is amazing, and it's technically the only person doing it. He's the only one that's bothering to put forth the effort to create this resource for all of us and all of our descendants and blah, blah, blah. But the people he's interviewing are better. So now we'll go to this, and I guess I'll shove it over here, and you'll have to just deal with me flipping back and forth like this. Or I guess I can just watch from this side. I can do that. So I should have mentioned it before. I do stuff here because y'all are too lazy to do it yourselves. But this isn't a interactive show. So you can use your keyboards and you wiggle your fingers on the glass of your phones, and then that'll make words happen on the screen, and then I can read the words on this side of the internet, and that's just like being pen pals in the olden days. So, except way faster. So I'm going to start this poll of who gets the shaft, and then these will be the people that fall to the cutting room floor. Well, Kim can't lose, so that one will stay. So Robin, she's potentially going. I shouldn't say that. Let's see who gets cut. Let's put it that way. Be less rude, perhaps. Now that I've thought about it, there's a lot of girls in this. Cut from the list. How about that? We're not just cutting people randomly. We're metaphorically cutting them from the list. So first off is Robin. Nothing wrong with Robin. She's just in playing with some heavy hitters here. So, or Brooke. Let's keep looking. Cheryl and Dan Todd, they're one person, so there's just one. Lauren, Masada Yub, we'll let Masada Yub get on the chopping block. He can handle it. Does he remember being in Riding Shotgun with Charlie Carr? Probably. Should Charlie have driving off the road and then said, "Does this remind you of flying in a helicopter?" That would have been classic. Did he have the balls to do it? No, he didn't do it. Tony? No. Ollie? Rhonda? No. Kenn? No. Marcus Allen? Or Marcus? No. James Kaleda? No. Well, I could put Marcus in there. He was the first one, though. He was the first guest, but he's been on there twice. And he didn't exploit his gun stuff much. So, and then Holly. Because we need to come up with somebody, so boom. We'll see what kind of votes we get, if people are going to participate or not. Otherwise, I'll just make decisions. I'll make decisions for you if you can't make these decisions in a relatively short period of time. So there's, I forget how many, 115 of these things. And then a bunch of ads in there for his merch, and then some other stuff. So pretty much 150, 140 videos maybe. And they're not all good. I'm not going to go around saying all of them are good, but most of them are good. And they all will give you different insight into our spectrum of gun owners. It's pretty awesome. He's missing some stuff for sure. You haven't had locked and loaded Latinos on. That's pathetic, but whatever. You were in Florida. Could have, but you didn't. You could drive down there right now. I don't know how many hours away you are, but I'm sure by the time you got down there, you could arrange it. All right, is anybody voting on this? Nah, we're not getting any votes. So we'll just have to do it ourselves. So, Robin. Rhonda's got a lot of support out of there. Brooke, no, we're keeping her. Dianna, keeping. Cheryl, Todd, Danny, Todd, yep, keeping them. Well, getting rid of Marcus. He's a cool dude, but he's not gun enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What the? Yep. Did I just drop one? I inadvertently deleted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Dang, still at 11. Oh, I'm getting rid of this on you. I already said that, I thought. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go, top 10. I'm not going to put them in order because that's tough. So I'll end the poll because y'all aren't even participating. The 1 or 2 people that are watching this anymore. Let's flip back over to StreamYard. It'll tell me. There's only 3 people watching this. So it turns out if you go live for over an hour and kind of slowly talk about other people's videos for like way more than an hour, it doesn't attract a ton of viewers in the middle of the day. Who would have thought? But I don't care because now we have an archive of all the YouTube, all the Riding Shotgun with Charlie videos up until 1:15, and you get the top 10. So what I'll do is probably go off air, so I don't need to do this live in front of everybody, and I'll edit this video right here. And I will post those top 10 videos in the description of this video. I should change this from 108. This is when I set this thing up. I don't even remember when I started doing this series. Whenever I started doing this series, months ago, really, is when I set this thing up, and he only had 108 episodes at that point. All right, so I will be going in here and editing this, adding those top 10 videos so that you've got that in the future. You can just look at the description of this video. But otherwise, stay tuned every Friday. We dig into another awesome channel. What are we doing next week? Let's go find out. If we go over here and go to here and here on our main channel, you can scroll down to upcoming live. There we go. So next week is the Best of Gun Freedom Radio. I think I alluded to that earlier. One of my favorite podcasts of all time, and they have an amazing resource on their website. Is Charlie building an equally amazing resource? Yes. Is he doing it on his own website? What? There's no link to his website on his YouTube header. What's up with that, Charlie? Now we're going to go to About. No link to his website here either. What's up with that, Charlie? So now we'll just type Riding Shotgun with Charlie into the internet because I got to do it manually now. Then we get to here. Let's see what he's doing on his website with. I mean, the visual is fine, but I don't like this episodes. I'd like to see something called guests. And then when you open this up, what do you get? Nice. You get all that same stuff. Only way you can do this better is to have it say guests instead of episodes. That could easily be done with changing that to guests, creating one that says episodes, making it a page, and then just different filter, or basically the same filter. So, but whatever. I guess I don't have to mansplain how to do your website right, or the way I like it. Otherwise, though, look at all that content he's creating. All of these places on the internet that are off of social platforms. These are on legitimate, real websites. Being archived by the places that photocopy the internet every day on photocopy machines. I'm not quite sure how those work, but I'm pretty sure that works. And creating what's called reciprocal links and keywords. So kicking butt, dude. You may not be getting rich, but you're building infrastructure that the next is going to end up appreciating and using. So I don't know if you're still watching, but Charlie's kicking butt. If you want an example of how to do it right, at least technically, go watch Charlie. If you want to see how to do it right inclusively or like actually paying attention to the whole community, Charlie's doing it as righter than anybody, actually. And I don't know, it'd be cool to have somebody interview Charlie sometime, hear about his goals, his motivation, and his what's next type of questions. Till next time, thanks for watching.